Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I greet you all according to your time and locations. You'll be watching this video. Yes, my dear viewers, I am back again with another update. So guys, I have a video here I would like we all to watch. But before then, if you're meeting my channel for the very first time, you're highly welcome. Please kindly do well to like, share and subscribe. Leave your thought on the comment section. Let us know what you think about this video and I will see you towards the end.
By the Labour Party's Senator-elect in Abuja, Ireti Kingibe. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. You made it to the studio in the end, and we congratulate you on your victory. I hope you can hear me there.
Yes, I can hear you, Charles. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Just first of all, remind us why you ran for office in the first place and what you think worked for you to make your bid successful.
Well, I ran to add value to the residents of the Federal Capital Territory. And as for my bid being successful, I think it was a combination of many factors. I have been in the political terrain for a while, so I was reasonably well known. I was in Labour Party. There's an upsurge for change and a third option. And I was part of that option. So I was a rallying point for the change. I'm also the rallying point for the youth. They wanted something different. And regardless of the fact that Senator Aduda has given FCT his best, after 12 years, just like everything in life, we needed a change. And that was why I think I won.
In a sense, you were at the right place at the right time. I mean, you struck the right note, and I'm sure you've had time to look back on your campaign. Do you think the fact that you're a woman worked for or against you?
It worked for me because women, I noticed this time around that women were more sensitive to the fact that we've been marginalized, and I had a lot of female support across parties. So the support was non-partisan. Most women supported me regardless of their party. And that's because there's this new awareness among women that in the political space, we are dwindling. And unless we do something about it, we're just going to get less and less. So for the few women that were actually running, I must say there was a lot of support from women. So it was positive, and youth and women are usually pulled together. I'm not exactly a youth, but they could see that I promoted the ideals and the change and the things that they believed in. So I got their support too. And as for the grassroots, I've been at that for a long time, so they know me well. And I wasn't new to the FCT, so that also helped.
Right. And now that you've made it through, I mean, how do you rate Nigerian politics? I mean, I know you've been in the field, but obviously you haven't been in the trenches like you've been this time, running for Senate against a very quite formidable opponent. Would you encourage other women and young people to get into politics, or is this still a very difficult and dangerous profession or vocation to get into?
Well, in spite of these challenges, I would recommend other women to get involved. Everything can be overcome. And I could see that the time was ripe for me. I also took it one day at a time. I didn't go looking for this. Labour Party and the whole run came to me. And I thought about it and decided that I had good structures. I've been in the political terrain as long as he has. I'm almost as well known in the FCT as he is. And also, I'm a woman. The symbolic of a mother. So a lot of places I go to, they call me Mama Abuja, and so they know me. So I will encourage other women to run. It's not that I'm just advising them to. I will actively, after I'm sworn in, I will start planning for 2025 and 2027 now. And when I say 2025, I'm talking of local government elections. We will have to start the plan now to get as much women involved in it as possible.
Yes, because I was going to ask you that now that you've stirred the pot, defied the odds and got the job, what are you going to do with it? What will your priorities be? Because many Nigerians often complain that during elections, politicians promise that they'll be there for them, but when they get to power, they do an about-face and forget the promises they made. What do you say to people like that who remain skeptical about what your priorities will be?
Well, if you know me, I'm a very tenacious and determined person. I did not join the politics because I was looking for anything other than to give back to the people and the electorate. I've also lived in Abuja long enough to know the problems of the FCT, and I'm going to start tackling some of them. Of course, a lot of them I would need to work with the minister to get them done. FCT senator, unlike the other ones, where it's the highest elective office in the FCT, so a lot of, and I suppose the highest representative of the people. So a lot of their issues they table to me, and they expect me to intercede between them and the minister and government. So one of the things that FCT has a big problem with is water. Obviously, that's not a problem I can solve alone, but it is a problem that I am going to ensure that we start solving. It may take more than even the 4 years. It probably has to be in stages, but it is a critical need of the FCT. That is one. Hello?
Yeah.
Secondly, secondly, education. Even if you go to Kuje is even too far. Even in Maitama, there are some of the classrooms in the schools. Children sit on the floor. What education is the bedrock of our human capital development. Definitely, that needs to be looked into. More has to be done. Health. I have looked at some of them. I'm right now studying the FCT budget for 2023. I'm trying to see how some of these things can happen. Health. There's some health funds that all other states access. FCT doesn't. And I've asked why. We need the relevant policies to be passed and put in place before we can access the same funds that every other state does. So I need to see how that policy can get quickly written, passed, and so that we can start getting at least more funding. And I've started looking at other sources of funding that are not necessarily from the FCT, maybe development funds for education, for health. I've started looking at all these options of funding. But definitely, I have already started working at least the much I can do without actually being there yet. I've started looking into it. So, like everything else, until you try it, you wouldn't know. So when the FCT has me as senator, then they can judge whether I'm one of those who's going to forget the promises or not.
I mean, you sound quite inspired there, but I mean, I wonder how you reckon your time in office is likely to be influenced by the fact that you are with the Labour Party as opposed to the APC or the PDP.
Well, in the FCT, it shouldn't matter that much. If you look at it, okay, maybe there's sometimes we've had the senator come from the same party as the national government, but there are lots of times Senator Duda was senator for at least 12 years where he was opposition, and the minister was APC, because they both have to work together. It has not made a lot of difference. So I know that I can impact positively on the lives of FCT people, in spite of the fact that I'm not in APC or PDP. And in the Senate, if you look at it, yes, they have APC senators, but they're not up to 50% of the Senate. We have PDP ones, Labour Party ones, NMPP, ABGA, SDP. So the Senate is a little bit different from the way it used to be. So I know that we can all work together. Also, the truth is that there are a lot more newer, first-time senators. That being said, I think we are more in touch with the pulse of the people. We also know that the people are tired. It can't be business as usual. If we do not pay strict attention to their needs, they're not going to take it lightly. Let's put it that way.
Yes, but I mean, I'm sure you're aware that you'll virtually be on your own in the Senate. I mean, you're a very clear minority there as a member of the Labour Party. I'm just wondering how much of uncharted territory that's going to be for you.
Well, I've never been a senator before, so all of it is uncharted territory. But when I get there, we will see how we are going to maneuver our way through things. You also have to, I also know that I'm one of only three female senators, so that also has its disadvantages and advantages, so we will see.
Yeah, well, we will certainly see. I mean, we're looking forward to seeing how you get on when you start your job. But of course, I mean, as we said, you did win. You are the new senator-elect representing the FCT under the Labour Party. But your party says the election as a whole was a sham and wants it cancelled. And it has now gone, well, the presidential side of it, and it has now gone to court to press its case. But you won your Senate seat in Abuja, and the Labour Party also won the presidential election in Abuja. But you're saying that on the one hand, the FCT vote that gave you and the Labour Party victory was fair and square, but the national vote did not reflect the will of the people. Is that right?
FCT is unique in that 75% of the electorate, Charles, are you and I. It's always, even the days of BVACs, card readers, and even the days when we were using paper voters card, FCT has always been a very, very difficult place to rig at the polling units. That anybody who lives in the FCT can tell you. Now, even in these elections, there's so many irregularities, a lot of places where I could also come and say, yes, I won, and I won by a huge margin. But there were so many places where there were irregularities and rigging. I think my votes would have been a lot more but at the end of the day, you can only do those things at the collation center. The results at the polling units are still there. But we had such a huge support that there's no need squabbling over a few votes. So most people do know that the FCT is different. If it wasn't, a lot more could have come out of it. It's never, ever been, even in 2003, where the government is struggling and struggling. Why would, if it was so easy to rig, it wouldn't be they don't have to struggle. But the FCT has never been that way. The electorate are not, you cannot influence them. You cannot force them. You cannot shoot them. The embassies are there. The observers, most of them are there. And that's the truth of the matter, Charles.
I'm also wondering, now that you are a senator-elect, I mean, presumably you came to understand, or you have come to understand, the way that not only the Senate works, but also the way that constitutionally the FCT is reflected in the Constitution. I mean, your party, as well as the PDP, are aiming to establish in court that the Constitution says that a presidential candidate must win 25% in the FCT, and because Bola Tinubu didn't win the FCT, he should not have been declared the winner. I wonder what your thoughts are on that.
Well, until now, it's always been understood that every presidential candidate must win 25% in the FCT. It is in the Constitution. It's always been understood, stated. We've all known that. And every year, every electoral year, we all struggle to make sure that our presidential candidate gets at least that 25%. So that has always been the way it's been since 1999 to date. Now, if things are being said that you don't need, that you can brush aside that constitutional requirement, you don't need to get the 25% of the FCT, well, that's news to us. We worked hard to make sure that the Labour Party president got at least that 25% or more. So, because we knew he had to have it.
Right. Well, let me just tell you this, that you're garnering quite a lot of views on YouTube at the moment, as we're live, obviously on television. People all around the world can see the discussion. But questions are coming in wondering how much the obedient movement helped you win in Abuja.
Oh, no doubt the obedient movement helped me to win. All of it helped me to win. That's what I was telling you. That is a combination of many factors. Oh, yes, it certainly helped me to win. Abuja was completely obedient. From the beginning, it was. And I must say that the obedient movement also came to look for me to be their senatorial candidate. So I must have reflected some of their ideals, or they wouldn't have done so. Oh, I believe in the movement, and I think Nigeria needs it. Now, whether we can achieve everything in 2023, that needs to be seen. But that is a movement, and one that will continue, and one that I intend to build and continue to build in the FCT. There's no doubt about that.
Okay, well, hopefully that'll put all the inquiries to rest for the moment. But I mean, broadly speaking, I mean, you clearly are a well-educated woman. You come from a very well-respected family. I mean, you are someone who clearly inspired people in the Federal Capital Territory. But for you personally, how inspiring a moment is this as you prepare to take your seat in the Senate?
Well, I'm treating it as something that there's a lot of work to